Welcome back. You're watching Smart Money. Time now to take a closer look at the financial portfolio of one of our viewers. Harsh Roongta is still with us. Let's also welcome Sushma from Vadodara. Hi Sushma, thanks for calling in. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sushma, tell us something about yourself. What do you do?
Right now I'm retired. I was working with Siemens company earlier.
Okay. Sushma, we've got all your details, the entire portfolio you sent us, and we have Mr. Harsh Roongta here with us. Harsh, you've had a chance to go through the entire portfolio. Tell us what your advice to her would be.
So I think the key thing, if you look at her portfolio, I mean, both of them are retired. I think their children are already married, staying in their own house. So I think quite a few positives. If you look at the portfolio is roughly evenly divided, 50-50. 50% debt and 50% equity. There is a small bit of gold, which is, I mean, in personal jewelry. So not essentially an investment. So I think the overall corpus and they need about 22,000, and that obviously in line with inflation it will keep going up. If you take that and assuming you need that for the next 21 years till Sushma turns 85, the corpus requirement would be close to 55 lakhs to be able to pay for that expense, inflation adjusted. Tax is not a serious issue at all, so we have assumed completely zero tax. Now the issue is that this corpus does not exist. The total corpus is 27 lakhs.
Right.
And I think, but the good thing is that there is this 10,000 rupee coming in from their son, and assuming that that will keep pace with inflation, I think the corpus that they have can last them. In fact, if the equity behaves well, it can make it quite comfortable, provided this money keeps coming in.
Right.
The equity exposure that they have is a little unusual. I mean, a 50% equity exposure for a retired couple is fairly, I would say, extremely aggressive. But given the fact, I think that otherwise they have no issues, they can probably keep it. And I think the best way to reduce that risk is that instead of having it in specific stocks as they have it now, they should shift it to a diversified large cap equity fund, a mutual fund. And I think as far as their debt is concerned, I think most of it, as and when it matures, they should definitely look at senior citizen savings scheme, because I think that gives, despite the drop that we have seen, it still gives an excellent interest rate at 8.6%, and per quarter it's risk free, and they seem to be comfortable dealing with the post office. So they can open that senior citizen savings scheme with the post office. So I think broadly, if they do this, that should take care with that help from their son that they are getting. I think that should take care with some amount to spare as the equity starts doing needs.
Right.
I think two things that Sushma had mentioned about her big fears, right, about medical.
Yes.
So they already have the Mediclaim policies from Bank of Baroda, which is a pretty, the Bank of Baroda's tie-up with general insurance company. I think that's a very good policy. I would suggest that they increase that amount from 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs.
Okay.
So that I think any residual fears around that are sort of taken care of. One issue that remains is that of they want to extend their house, have another, because the house is short. When I was having a chat with her, she mentioned that the house is short when children come home. So that there is no money really to take care of that. One of the ways to do it is use the house as a loan, as a collateral. The son can take a loan, but he would have to pay for it himself. The other thing that they can do is this gold. If the specific gold is not needed, if the specific jewelry is not needed, that I think should go into the gold monetization scheme. The nationalized bank, I think they bank with Bank of Baroda. They would be happy to, I think, assist them in converting this jewelry into a gold monetization scheme where at any time they can get back the gold, but plus they will get interest. All this is anyways tax free.
Right.
So I think that broadly should take care of their needs.
Right. And you were also mentioning that their stocks that they have the exposure, I think 11 lakhs to, that we transferred to mutual funds. How do you propose that she goes through that in terms of, should it be as a lump sum, should it be as a systematic transfer plan, and what are the kind of funds that she should be investing in?
So this is, the exposure is already in equity. So there is no real need, as long as you want to keep that equity exposure, there is no need to do it systematically. She can sell it and in a lump sum invest it in the desired equity mutual fund. For them, I would say they should look at a large cap equity fund, maybe even an index fund. So they could probably do, because the amounts in their references are large, maybe the 11 lakhs, although there will be a fair bit of overlapping, they could do say 6 or 7 lakhs an actively managed large cap fund, maybe a Birla Sun Life Frontline Equity or an ICICI focused blue chip, and the balance amount could probably go to an index fund.
Okay, okay. All right, Sushma, hope you got all the answers you were looking for.
Yeah, I got the thing.
All right, thank you so much for calling in. All right, time for another quick break. We'll come back and take up your queries on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Smart Money. Let's now take up some email queries from our viewers. Ruchin Gupta has written in. He has an SIP in 6 different equity funds and wants to know if his MF portfolio needs any tweaking. He also has a corpus of 10 lakhs to invest and wants to know if he should invest in a lump sum or via a systematic transfer plan. Harsh, he has a time horizon of 10 years. What would be your advice for him?
So I think the number one advice is that when you start investing, plan for your investment, and one of the first steps in planning is knowing why you are investing or have your goals. Because the manner in which you invest will depend on what you are investing for. Okay. So I think it's very important. Also, what that does is that it personalizes your investment, right? So you're no longer investing in Axis long-term equity fund. You are investing in your son's education fund. You are investing in your retirement fund. So the discipline that comes when you are journeying towards a specific goal. The second thing, I think he's not mentioned it anywhere, but you need to look at your insurances. So whether it is term insurance, whether it is health insurance, please look at it. Insurance comes even before investment. So that's the second thing that he should look at.
Okay.
Having done that, I think if we turn to his investments itself, right, he's got 6 of them. Now, unless he has 6 goals, we don't know what goals he has. For a single goal, I would choose one fund. Maybe if I need 2 kinds of fund, one large cap and one small cap, I may have 2 funds. So I would not normally have 6 schemes for a single goal. So the schemes appear to be too many unless he has many goals. The choice also, if you see, he has, I think almost all the schemes are multi-cap. All of the schemes are good. They are, I mean, the multi-cap schemes, they have he has one ELSS, which is pretty good, Axis Long-Term Equity. He has one scheme here, which is ICICI Export and Other Services Fund, which is a sectoral scheme.
Right.
Sectoral schemes is not something we recommend, simply because I think you need some expertise in the sector, and it's much better to remain in a diversified portfolio than to go in a sectoral portfolio, unless you specifically wish to take that risk. So that needs to be a conscious decision by you.
And the 10 lakhs that he has, would you recommend a lump sum investment or investment via an STP?
So I don't think a lump sum investment in equity ever makes sense unless it's coming from equity.
Okay.
In this case, it seems to be money lying in his account, in which case it should go into a debt fund, an arbitrage fund, and from there
So via
through a systematic transfer plan into the relevant fund.
All right. All right, moving on, Prem Ganshu from Hyderabad has sent us an email. His salary is 70,000 per month. He has a loan of 17,000 for 1 year, and his expenses total about 27,500 per month. Harsh, he's a new investor, a beginner, and he wants to know how to kickstart his financial planning.
So I think if we look at the good things and the not so good things about where he is currently, so if you look at it, his savings ratio, the amount he saves, is pretty good. I think it's at around 35%.
Right.
If you add this personal loan, now we have no idea what he took this personal loan for.
Correct.
If you add that back, I think it's good 60%. So obviously his expenses are under control. I think the key lesson for him in future, don't really borrow, okay, till you save up money for it. If this say was a consumer durable loan, okay, it's much better to invest in a debt fund or a hybrid fund, and when the money accumulates, buy.
Right.
One of the big advantages of that, when you sort of postpone your gratification, you don't instantly buy the LED TV because the World Cup is coming, is because when you postpone it, magically some of those demands disappear. The moment you postpone the moment of gratification, so only the more important ones would remain. So that saves you from sort of not spending money where it may not be needed, and it will still allow you to spend money where it is needed. So I think since he is starting, that's a good lesson to sort of start with, that loans are something you use with caution.
Right.
Home loans, for example, are good, which he doesn't have. Now, if he is investing, say, for example, to make a down payment for his house, I think he has enough money. He can invest it systematically. If the period is, say, 5 years, he can do it in a balanced fund, so that that money will also grow. He also gets into a disciplined habit of investing everything every month, which eventually that investment can be replaced by an EMI, and the fund that he has accumulated can go into the down payment. So I think it is in the habit, he gets into the habit of investing. So I think discipline, regularity and commitment, I think that really is the key to successful finance.
All right. Thanks very much, Harsh, for joining in today with all your inputs. All right, that's all we have for you today. Always remember, wealth cannot be earned, it can only be created. We at Smart Money will continue to help you grow and protect your money. Do keep your emails coming and keep watching Smart Money.